Welcome back to the Live China Music Podcast. How's it going, Will?
I'm doing great, Ellie. Thank you for asking. We're back from Chinese New Year now. We're trying to just get back into the groove of things. Everyone's a little, it's kind of everything kind of slowly comes back to life after Chinese New Year, and it takes a couple weeks, I feel.
Well, that is a way of spring. Flowers don't bloom out of nowhere. They gotta do their thing. We have been saying that we'd like to have more hip-hop. In this episode, we do have a cool track, which has got some old school production, but, bit of spice added to it. We also have a lot of anger, right?
Yeah.
There's some angry tracks today.
We're kind of jumping all over the place. We've got some electronic music. We've got some chamber pop. We've got some hardcore emo. We've got some post-punk. And as we mentioned already, we got some hip-hop. It is... the good thing about Chinese New Year is that the releases don't slow down really at all. And so, the new stuff has just been coming and coming. And we've been gathering quite the stockpile. And... shall we just get right into it? What do you say?
Let's do it. What is this chamber pop, avant-pop you have in mind?
Well, let's take a listen. Here we have from Guangzhou, Run Novel.
时空，也让我重获新生。
This was 短片小说 by 短跑小说. Well, actually, the track title is 短片小说. It's not 短跑小说. 短跑 is sprint. 短片 is like a short novel.
Yeah. I noticed that now. And actually, and I'm not sure if this is on purpose, but, their name has like 2 exclamation points. So run, exclamation point, novel, exclamation point. But as we see on the song track, one of those exclamation points has disappeared.
Well,
that's true detective work right there, Ellie. Sherlock Holmes, watch out!
Well, anyways, regardless of the punctuation for this specific track, the single was released on February 2nd. There's one thing that I kind of want to dig into afterwards with you. It's released. It says Kashmir Records, but I think we'll circle back to that a bit later. Do you want to introduce the band a little bit?
So Guangzhou's Run Novel, they've been around since 2020. Just kind of been very much an outlier in the indie scene. Because they really do tackle this very much this chamber pop, avant-pop world with such affection and sincerity. It has this, in times it has this kind of lo-fi bedroom pop feel, but often it has this kind of very intricate kind of arrangements that have a lot of jazz, a lot of just a lot of genres kind of woven in that feels very orchestral. And it's, it's kind of, it's flamboyant, I suppose. It's very theatrical. And it does feel kind of, it's one of these sounds that I feel like has been getting popular in the US with bands like Black Country New Road and whatnot. These bands who bring lots of instruments on stage and have this very storytelling quality to them. So they released an album in 2023, which kind of became like a huge kind of underground hit that kind of brought them a lot of, clout and, really...
What was the name of the album already? I forget the name of the album.
It's Get Poverty from Risk was the name of their 2023 album.
Right, yeah.
He often sings in English, not always, but it's just really fun. I would even say sometimes satirical, sometimes genuine songwriting. Kind of reminds me of people like Rufus Wainwright or Bane's World in that regard. But just really charming and just kind of full of imagination. And this is like their first new track in just about 2 years.
Lovely. I didn't catch that when I was first listening to it, and I agree with you say like the frontman singing does have also besides the rest of the music also has a lot of jazz phrasings into it. But just re-listening to it right now, I was thinking also about Morrissey and the Smiths. I don't know if that's something that you'd agree with me on.
I mean, not so much the Smiths, because the Smiths, I mean, as dreamy as they can be, it still has that kind of rugged, dirty rock and roll kind of energy beneath the surface there. This seems a lot more, I don't want to say polished, but a lot more, as we said, orchestral.
No, I was thinking that there's some quality, like Morrissey-esque quality to his singing in parts, and then you just shut that down brutally.
That's what I'm here for.
Yeah. No, but I was also thought I'd mentioned the recurring lyrical motive in this song. 让我彻底失控，也让我重获新生. Let me completely lose control and let me have a new life. That, it keeps coming back in the track, and it's well delivered. It's a really nice track. I'm a bit of a softie sometimes, and this track works for me really well.
Yeah. It's nice. It's really just nice on the ears, a track like this. And hopefully that means there's new music around the corner, a new release of any kind.
Well, surely there is. There's
always
because
is.
As I was mentioning in the beginning. Well, yeah, all right, but let me finish my thought. I was getting onto something. I was trying to loop back to what I was saying in the beginning, which is that the track was released. I mean, it shows that it's released by Kashmir Records, and I did a very quick bit of digging because I hadn't heard of them before, and there's a Kashmir studio in Shanghai, which seems to be very cool. So I don't know if you know anything about these guys, but I feel that this album was probably produced with the team at Kashmir Records, and they also helped distribute it.
Yeah, we will be hearing, I think, from Kashmir Records in the next episode as well, because I have stumbled upon the name more and more. And I might have an inkling of who's behind it, but I'm going to save that for next time.
Sure. I mean, they do have an Instagram account as well, and I can link that up in the show notes for people that are curious. But maybe I'll do that for next episode. Anyways, how about we move on to some Disordered Clay?
All right. Sounds about right.
Yeah, the next track is 他所看到的事. All the things he sees, I guess, would be a translation. I don't know if there's an English translation to that track. It's Disordered Clay. Okay, this was 他所看到的事, all the things he sees from Disordered Clay's new EP, Messy, 乱乱的, which was released on February 4th. This is also an interesting release. It's released with SAG. I only knew about them from the big arena concerts they put together for massive pop stars. I didn't realize they did also the whole, did like working with indie artists.
Do you think it's more like studio space that they're offering up or something like that? Or it's actually the label?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I mean, I'm not sure where they recorded it, but I'm assuming it looks like Beijing from the, yeah.
Well, actually, where are they from? They're from Beijing?
They are from Shanghai, actually.
Yeah. So that was one of our angry songs today.
Yeah, this is our, I can firmly say this is in the post-punk realm. I mean, I know, like, on their EP, like, every song is quite different from the other. They do jump around genre-wise, but they always have this kind of angsty energy. And this particular track, I was told, was written during, the pandemic here in Shanghai, which, obviously...
Yeah, it was particularly brutal,
yeah, exactly. And so that kind of, looking at the lyrics, it does definitely come through that kind of just, like, relentless, just kind of numbing anger.
Yeah. 愤怒麻木,愤怒麻木,愤怒再麻木. Anger, numbness, anger, and more numbness. Is one of the main lyric. And I mean, you mentioning how it, like, they kind of did some different kind of styles in the EP.
Yeah, like the band, they started like as a post-punk band, pretty through and through, and then as they kind of grew over the years, they added like a keyboardist, and they kind of got more comfortable exploring and just kind of fleshing out their sound and taking in other influences. I mean, on the EP, like it kicks off with like a 10-minute, like very, very Pink Floyd-esque kind of like jam, and then they I think they have some ballads which there was another song we were almost about to include. I think that was I highly recommend.
Yeah.
What was the name of that one?
住在月亮上, Living on the Moon. It's the 5th track on the EP. It's a really, really nice ballad.
But yeah, they're one of my they're one of Shanghai's, I feel, underrated bands. They don't really get, they haven't quite got the traction that I think they deserve. But there's always this kind of raw sincerity to their music that I've always appreciated. And just, simply put, they know how to put a good melody together. as heard here.
And I also enjoy going back to like the EP and its structure. I think I like that it's coherent and it moves from one track to the other. It makes sense, and it feels like a well thought out project, which I always appreciate when this that level of conceptuality or preparation in a record that's more than just a single or a collection of singles.
Yeah, exactly. It does feel like they're giving you essentially like their live set, which in a live set you want variety. You want there to be builds up, and then you want quieter moments. You want it to move around sonically. And so that's very much what I found in this EP. It does kind of, it does remind me of their live sets, which is something very hard to capture many times on albums.
Moving on to the next track, I mean, these are, kind of veterans right now, like Zhuoling and SHAO, right? I mean,
these are electronic artists who have been around the block, and they've only have grown in esteem. They're established, mature, and like they're getting the respect they deserve now, and they're really taking that and putting that to use and taking advantage of their of the momentum that they've been building over all these years, and they're really just putting out great music consistently.
All right, well, let's stop introducing them and play the actual track. This is Warp, and actually the SHAO remix version from Zhuoling and SHAO. This was Warp, the remix version by SHAO. It was released, 2 months ago. It's actually a 2025 track, but it was released in preparation of their EP. So Zhuoling is going to release something in late March, and they're going to be touring it with SHAO as well in April.
Oh, really? Oh, that's going to be pretty awesome.
Yeah, because from what she was saying, apparently they wanted to work together. I mean, they've been friends for a while, and SHAO worked on this track of hers, and she's worked on a different track of SHAO's, if I got that right. And then they're going to tour it together.
Hell yeah. This will be off Zhuoling's upcoming new release, Uncharted 1 and 2, which a continuation of her EP Uncharted, which I believe came out, I want to say 2 years ago.
Yeah, 2023, I think, was a year.
Wow.
So a little bit over 2 years.
And I mean, I know you're definitely, I know you're gonna throw trip hop at me, right?
Oh yeah.
I knew it.
Well, I mean, when I listened to it, the first thought I had was, okay, that's trip hop, and I think that Zhuoling's also been delving in trip hop earlier in her career as well. So there's definitely that feel, but I don't want to say that it's a purely trip hop track. It's much more, I think, towards the electronic, a little bit ambient. For me, it was evocative of, I don't know, like spaceships and signals coming from far outer space and that kind of headspace. And the the remix by Shao feels like it brings it down to a more heavy, dense kind of track closer to trance or something like that.
Yeah, I think you hit it on the nail. Like, it has a very cosmic electronic thing. Reminds me a bit of like she reminds me a bit of like John Hopkins. A lot of his music, lots of ambient influences, just very, very starry-eyed stuff. And I really like what Shao does here as well. As you said, like, kind of brings it down to like his minimalist techno world. And really, really good stuff that kind of works both on the dance floor and just also as well as just like background music that you kind of can like just immerse yourself in.
Yeah. Lovely, and I hope we get to catch them both together on tour when they actually do that. I think they said April. Neat to have a little electronic track in here today's episode. Yeah, so the next track is we're going into that hip hop, man. This is where we're going, and the track is 完美之可. It's by Fei Fei with Eggman on production.
Yeah. We on. 靠装是不合理的，和装的不能比的，脸红因为 verse 太烫了，不止这几个。我点开音乐板块，找着 motherfuck， 好像他们没吃过好的。评论区的批斗 ，MBTI killing my ego， 麻痹的 I feel like TI， 吹逼谁跟谁比，谁更厉害 ，One opportunity 都没人理睬。我说我们接着上，可往哪里跑，蛇往哪里绕？前路上的所有分歧是没办法解决能想象的路，不停的循环 karma 或者是路，土壤越来越有限，朝哪里生长？把伤疤托起，就像是勋章被唾弃，放心上本能向我们竖起的屏障。
Okay, so this is from the LP I Thought They Might Kill Me, released in January 30th under Aftersound Limited. And it's a collaboration between Fei Fei and Eggman.
And this came out with Happy Records. They're doing distribution, and so they kind of reached out to me.
Right. Okay. So wait. So I just said something wrong because I know
you did.
Well, you got to tell me because
I was doing it in a roundabout way.
Okay, because I know they said, they did it with Happy Records. I saw the notes they sent back. But so what's Aftersound Limited? Is that just a distributor? But that doesn't make sense.
No, I think that's basically, I think that's Eggman's kind of other alias or essentially production house that he releases music under. Because sometimes Wang Yi acts like weird like that. Artists will add it to like both boxes essentially.
Okay, so there's a little bit of complexity going on, but they definitely worked with Happy Records on this record, and we'll get into this in a bit. Let's just put that aside for now.
So yeah, I Thought They Might Kill Me. Great name. This is very much part of a kind of new generation of hip-hop artists who are popping up around China, who are kind of involved with the music scene through various means. As we were told, like for this record, they recruited lots of musicians from like emo bands like the Beneficial Society we've talked about before, from the garage rockers, the Farmers as well, all out of Hangzhou, and kind of got them in the studio, got them to record some tracks, got them to record instruments, and you can really hear that within a lot of these tracks. There's this very worn-in feeling with the samples here, with the beats, with the instrumentation that feels. It gives a very cerebral kind of feel to it.
Yeah, and I think because Eggman is the producer behind this, Fei Fei is the MC.
Yes,
And,
correct.
Eggman was saying a little bit about his views of like how he goes about his production, and this is old school, kind of production. But the point I think he was trying to get across is that even doing this style of production, you can use that as a framework, but it doesn't have to constrain you. And you can, and the way he's playing around is introducing these live, instruments in there, and you've got that guitar and you got some horns in there that makes it so much more interesting.
Yeah. And as you said, like it is it's freeing. Like it kind of frees you up to explore other arenas. You're not kind of glued down to a simple beat, 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 beat kind of mentality. You can actually make it more, I think, abstract, which this is very much in the realm of like abstract hip hop. I feel very smoky feels, very kind of drawn out psychedelic vibes that where like sounds stretch out over the track and whatnot.
They could do that a lot thanks to Happy Records, because the environment in the studio allowed this kind of creative energy to come out, and having those guest musicians come in and participate on the various tracks.
In general, like I do appreciate how there's a lot more, I don't want to say incestuous, but there's a lot more gathering of minds within like the underground rock scene and hip hop, and that you hear more and more, where like you hear a lot of, I guess, emo bands in particular, use hip hop or rap aesthetics within their songs, and and that goes the other way around as well.
And just because the Beneficial Society, they're in Hangzhou. Where do you know where Fei Fei is based?
Yeah, I sense this is a big kind of Hangzhou family.
Okay. So yes, it's a big Hangzhou family kind of thing. Well, that's very cool. And I wanted to get into the track itself a little bit, and the lyrical part of it.
Yes.
The title, 完美之可, is actually a Chengdu. So Chengdus, they're a very typical kind of proverb in China that use 4 characters, and you have thousands of them that can say everything and its opposite, and they're wonderful if you have time to dig into it. But basically, this one is based from a story from the Three Kingdoms, when the general Cao Cao was taking his army to go and fight some people, and they were exhausted, and he told them there's a forest, a plum forest ahead, and they could think about the plums to quench their thirst, basically. So it's quenching your thirst by imagining the plums, without going too much into the meanings of it. But basically, it can be something about bring yourself hope by thinking of something you really, really want. And it's got a second layer of meaning, which is that there's illusions that won't actually satiate your thirst. They're illusions. And so the track itself, it's about being an artist and having those hopes and those goals, and being thirsty, or like being hungry, and that not being quenched. But it's essentially, the track is about being resilient and having to deal with the ups and downs of being an artist and trying to achieve those goals and not always, succeeding. So it's a good track. It's a good track.
Yeah. Very, very pretty awesome track. I definitely felt a bit of Nos in there. It reminded me some old school Nos, but really just awesome, like, old school feeling.
If you enjoyed this, let us know. Remember to subscribe on the podcast thing. Leave us a comment if you feel moved to tell us off about the mistakes we might be making, or if you really enjoyed a track or something. Just let us know.
Yes, please do. We all want to know, is Ellie...
You know, people might ask themselves whether Will might be a... No, I was trying to... I don't know how to pronounce it. Giga Chad.
Is Will mentally... does Will have Tourette's?
No, I was going to say, is Will as a Giga Chad?
Giga Chad? Oh my gosh. I don't... What is a Giga Chad? Also, I have so many questions.
The biggest Chad you could be, and it's actually the next track that we have in the last one for today by Wishtoday. Let's have it. Giga Chad.
That was Giga Chad by Wishtoday. They also go by their Chinese name, which is...
V 是兔子. V is rabbit.
And this is the band we've had on before. We had them on, I think, for our first episode last year.
I think so, yeah, because they're... the album I think we talked about last year came out in January, so it was really early in the year.
Yeah. And it's been a whirlwind year for the young band out of Zhengzhou. They're they're one of the most sought after bands. Kind of the ringleader of this new emo resurgence that's happening across China.
You saw that coming, I guess. When we talked about it a year ago, you were really excited about them, and they're doing really well.
So this is their new EP, entitled Giga Chad, and while their debut from last year was, not a streamlined emo record, this is I would say like a complete kind of hairpin turn that kind of just throws everything in the kitchen sink at you, both production-wise and just whatever, ideology they're sprouting. I mean, in this track alone, you have the female vocals reciting Beavis from Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah.
which already, it's you win in my book if you bring up the Great Holy Cornholio.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was really surprised. I don't know where they got that from, because it's actually, it's from our generation, but I don't know that...
This is also the weird thing. Yeah, exactly. This is from our generation. But it's interesting to see a bunch of like late, I guess 20-year-olds. I mean, I'm not even sure how many of them are 20 at this rate, but just see all these people just kind of steering recklessly into this kind of just mayhem, this sonic mayhem here. You had some questions about the production of this, right?
Yeah, because, you can feel the DIY ethic kind of dripping through the whole album, to the extent that I was surprised, from the first track to this track, there's massive differences in volume. It's not been normalized. It's weird. It's whack. It's crazy. What's going on? What do you think? Well, what are your opinions?
I mean, it's just like, it is almost, I don't want to say it's trolling.
It feels like trolling.
It does. But in a way I can appreciate. But it does really feel like they just want to say, to everyone who loved them the first time around, this is like, well, fuck you. Like, for what, for liking us. Like, we want to make it a bit more jarring for you now.
Yeah.
And we want to filter out some of the people who may be like attached to us since last time. We want to just find our true disciples through this release.
It does feel like an artistic pronouncement where they're not going to listen to anyone, basically, and they're going to do their own thing, right?
Yeah, and that's very much, and you kind of see this spilling over in like the comments section where like a lot of people like, oh, like these kids don't have like any real ideology or bullshit like that, mm-hmm. and like it's just a lot of that. I mean, looking at the album cover too, which is kind of a completely warped painting like of a famous kind of moment in Japan where let me try to get this right, where like we're kind of like a renowned right-wing like author, Misha Hima, kind of engaged with a debate with like 1,000 radical left-wing students at the University of Tokyo in like 1969.
Oh, yeah, that was an interesting moment. Time period 1969, like early 70s in Japan. It's crazy.
And so, like, if they're invoking that kind of stuff, again, this goes back to, like, how serious are they, or is it all genuine? I mean, at the end of the day, like, I don't care too much because I just enjoy, like, just the swings that this band are taking, and I enjoy just how much they're connecting on a both lyrical and a, well, hopefully, sonic level.
And it's the kind of thing where I feel they have enough momentum now that there's going to be some more exciting stuff happening probably even this year. Because if this EP is a way of saying, we'll do whatever we want, then the next thing they're going to come out with is going to be, I think, more about what they actually want to express, freed of constraints.
Indeed. Yeah. They basically, this is a band who basically, as you say, like has the world is their oyster right now, and so it'll be exciting to see where they go next. They're actually, they're about to hit the road. I think they'll be coming through Shanghai next weekend.
Neat. I've never seen them live, actually.
Yeah, it's a lot of. I'll say this. It's almost like, it's really quite a shock how different they can be on stage, where they really do lean into the lyrical nature of their songs a lot more, I think, live, with with basically everyone in the crowd singing along, like young kids like crying their eyes out on the floor. It can get a little weird sometimes.
Sounds like something I need to see. Right on. Well, that's it for today. Spring is upon us, and everything is renewing. And yeah, I don't know what I'm going to say. But I don't have anything else.
You had nothing. You came in there with high hopes, and you just
Yeah, I've been looking at plums too much, and my thirst isn't quenched.
Yeah. I mean, it's also Friday, and some of us have work tomorrow because China does not really appreciate what a true holiday should be. So thank you for that. But I did leave you, as you noticed already, I have already added like so many new songs that we are just going to be jumping right into.
Yes. I saw some familiar names.
Very excited.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. Yep. I'm looking forward to it. And I think we might be working on a little bit of a caper.
You mean like a Chengdu caper?
Uh-huh. Yep.
Yeah. I think I already had Joe reach out to me. So seems like the crew is gathering.
Nice.
The heist crew.
All right. Okay. More on that later. In the meantime, everyone who's been listening, thank you so much for being with us and sharing this moment in time. Take good care of yourselves. Have a lovely week, and we'll catch you soon.
Awesome. Take care, everyone. Thank you for listening. Remember, links, all that stuff, find it, wherever. And till next time.
wherever Ellie puts it. Yes.
Yeah.
Will has no clue. He never clicked. He's never listened to anyone.
Whatever Ellie says, whatever whatever this man says, he knows where it goes. Okay.
The show notes. It's in the show notes.
Show notes. That's what it is. Yeah. Love you all. Take care. Peace out.